it's the time of the year where, there's a lot of news going on. The NFL knows that, so they put out the top 100 list right around this time. And the top 100 list is out there now. And that's where we get to these GOAT debates, who's better than who, what era's better than what, whatever. So we'll see that at this point in time. So especially around quarterbacks, and everybody has an opinion on one, including former quarterbacks like Big Ben Roethlisberger. On his Footballin podcast, Ben Roethlisberger was asked a simple question: would you take prime Aaron Rodgers or current Patrick Mahomes? And I'm going to let Ben Roethlisberger speak for himself on what he said. So here is Big Ben Roethlisberger on who is a better quarterback between prime Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes.
Take Aaron in his prime or Patrick Mahomes now?
Yeah.
Well, I would take Aaron in his prime over Patrick now. I think Aaron Rodgers in his prime was one of the top few to ever do it, and so is Patrick Mahomes at his prime. Patrick Mahomes is just like entering out of his prime. I think.
You think?
I mean, yes, I think Patrick Mahomes is a phenomenal. He's going to go down as a another arguable GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Aaron in his prime. Then we're talking about Patrick right now.
Yeah.
If we're talking prime and prime, then I'm gonna really have to think hard on that. Like I am. And listen, and by no stretch of the imagination am I saying Patrick Mahomes is not good. This was a question of right now
That'd be the
versus
headline.
the best.
That'd be the headline.
I know. Roethlisberger thinks Mahomes terrible.
So after this played, Bobby Strapp, Mahomes' famous trainer, said, he quote tweeted an article from Airhead Addict about this clip. He said, "Not everybody quits working out at 30 years old, Ben." So Mahomes is only 29 years old. And so what the big takeaway from this whole thing was, obviously, Aaron Rodgers, you can debate all day long about Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes. But the one takeaway here was he said Mahomes is entering out of his prime at the rightful age of 29, which is kind of ridiculous because, it was very ridiculous, to be quite honest with you. Tom Brady's best season, his record-setting season, was at age 30, the year Randy Moss came over there. His best season, statistically, his best season when he was at 43 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But nonetheless, Big Ben saying he's entering out of his prime. So, JD, to kick things off here, what do you make about Big Ben Roethlisberger talking about Patrick Mahomes in the way that he did?
Look, everybody has their opinion. We understand that. Big Ben has his. If it's who he chooses to take in his prime, then so be it. Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. We understand that. He's been very effective his entire career. He's been into 20 years. Let me see, and I'm just gonna hold on. Let me just do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Patrick, okay, having really, been in half the years of Aaron Rodgers, already have more than half of what he's passed for. That right there is a fact. It is. Not to mention the amount of Super Bowls he's been to, and also to the hard work that he has acquired over the years from his very infancy in the league. Patrick Mahomes doesn't know anything else but AFC Championship games, Marcus. That's what this man knows. Aaron Rodgers cannot say that. He can't. And so I understand that Ben Roethlisberger is a protectionist. He's going to protect his era. That's what he's supposed to say. I guarantee him and Aaron are boys, and he's got to protect his boy, right? I get it. I understand that part of it. But to not recognize the greatness and not believing that Patrick Mahomes in his prime, and I think he just said Patrick's coming out of his prime, which is ridiculous just to say in itself. It's crazy. I think that's the crazy part alone. Is asinine. Absolutely asinine. Okay. And that's my opinion. It's my opinion about it. So when we look at big games, winning big games, Patrick Mahomes covers that all day better than Aaron Rodgers does. And if we want to go into it, and we had this conversation, I didn't really get to go into. I'm just thinking about like the amount of guys that Patrick's had around him and who Aaron had around him also too. I think we got to measure as well, like, the pass catchers and stuff. And Aaron's had some absolutely incredible guys around him catching the football. Pat has too, we understand that. Will we say it's been on the same level as Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. People could argue some points on some of those things, right? They can. But my thing is, what sets Patrick apart, okay, is not just only his talent, all right? It's just not only his talent, but it's also his character. It's also how other people talk about him and the ones in the locker room speak about him. It's about Patrick Mahomes going out here and not making waves, right? He doesn't alienate people because it's just not who he is. He's not a controversial figure whatsoever. I think Aaron Rodgers has embraced that a lot. He has. And you've heard certain talks of the different people out here talk about Aaron Rodgers as well. I know what Aaron Rodgers does too. You know what Aaron Rodgers does more than I've seen Patrick Mahomes do? He'll throw somebody under the bus. That sucker immediately throw somebody out in traffic to take the hit. And a lot of times it's not his fault. He'll start yelling at the guys and all this, and then he'll try to determine what he's going to run in the games and the game plan. That's what Aaron does, and it rubs some people the wrong way. Me included. I think he's a joker. Stu knows when I say that joker's a joker, that means he has a little bit of this arrogance to him. Okay, true, and he should. He accomplished a lot. He's a great quarterback. Okay, not good, but great quarterback. But the arrogance that he holds, okay, is somewhat off-putting, at least for me. Okay, and I'm not the only one that says this. There's a lot of people that have those type of opinions about him as well. But he can immediately take the blame from it and throw it on everybody else. He's one of those guys. I'm gonna point to you. Well, guys didn't really my fault. The other guys didn't run the route, and he's getting on him, and somebody ran different. And you see, and not only did Big Ben protect him, but also too, you see a lot of the announcers protect him as well. A lot of announcers protect Aaron Rodgers, okay, because they have this affinity with Aaron Rodgers and greatness that they all they stay complicit with it, right? And I think they hate Patrick because when Patrick comes in, he goes to work. He goes straight to work. He doesn't sit there and he doesn't put it on anybody else's shoulders. He don't you don't see him talking about somebody should have ran a better route. He puts everything on him. That's what he does. That's what a leader should do. And so he just exhibits all these other qualities. It's about leadership and just winning. His history speaks for itself. But who Patrick Mahomes is, just a man, and what he's been able to do with the talent that he has, he's just been firing away. He's been firing away. So he stays with that. That's fine. Ben, stay over there. I get it. Stay right there with it. But if I'm sitting over here, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, PM15 all day in their prime. Sorry. And guess what? Pat is still in his prime, baby. Pat is still in his prime. That's the crazy part. You're going to sit there and say something like that out your lips.
Where does that come from?
Hey, man, come on, man.
What's he basing that off of? If you could try to put yourself in Big Ben's shoes here on that quote alone, it's just coming saying he's had a few to his standards, a few back-to-back bad years to Mahomes' standards. Is that what he's getting at?
That's what he's looking at. A couple of bad. He might say, "Well, Pat didn't have a great year last year, right?" Well, your number 1 and 2 receiver go down. Okay, we didn't quite get the ball to Kelsey like we should have last year. Finally started getting it to him. Do they throw the ball down the field? Nah, maybe not as much as we should. Do we have the capability? Pat can throw it like that deep all day. He really can. So if you want to talk about accuracy and all those different things, Pat makes every throw that Aaron Rodgers can do, and then some. And then some. They both have strong arms. I'm not taking anything away from Aaron Rodgers. I'm not. I understand his greatness. I recognize it. He is a damn good quarterback. But when I'm sitting over and I'm watching Patrick Mahomes absolutely rifle something in, I'm taking PM15 all day. I'm doing it. So I'm just sitting there looking at Patrick Mahomes as a standard. The conversation about who's the greatest as quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers is not up in that conversation anymore, Marcus. He's not. If he was, then they would be like, oh, well, Aaron Rodgers. No, it's not that. It's Tom and Patrick. That's what you see. Okay. And then Montana, and then, everybody has that. Aaron Rodgers is back there on the bus. He back there with Ben Roethlisberger. That's where he at. He back there with him. So that's my take, man. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. Yeah. Pono. What's up, Pono? Pono's a jealousy, pure and simple. I don't even know if I don't even think it's jealousy. I think it's just him, trying to, protect his boy, trying to protect his legacy. It's protectionism. He's a protectionist of his era. I get it.
I mean, Mahomes. So Roethlisberger has got 2 Super Bowls. Rodgers has 1. So both of them together are tied with Mahomes with Super Bowl wins. And then Super Bowl appearances, Mahomes has more than both of them combined. So I mean, like
I said, man, everybody has a chocolate star kiss, right? Everybody has one. So Ben has his, right? And Ben has to go on and he has to defend his boy. He doesn't really know Patrick like that. So he's got to talk about Aaron. And like I said, it's not taken away from Aaron's greatness. We understand that, right? It's Ben's his opinion on it. But if I'm sitting over here at the end of the game and I need to go down and get a touchdown, I need to get a win, and I'm thinking fourth quarter, if I'm going to need to drive the ball, I'm putting that right there on PM15. That's what I'm doing. All right? So, and that's in any, I'm telling you, Marcus, this is in any system. In any system. So.
Yeah, you would think by now he's done enough for people to just lay off him. But, Big Ben, Mahomes does get you clicks, right? It's going to get your podcast some clicks. Talking about Patrick Mahomes and making a very very edgy comment on Patrick Mahomes. That does definitely sells a little bit on the podcast, I would say.
Yeah, but look, okay. So and honestly, like I said before, look, it's Ben's opinion. It is. He's and Ben's got obviously a great perspective because he's a quarterback too. Maybe he sees some things in Patrick. He's like, I wanted to see him actually say why he would pick Aaron over Patrick. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it came off even like in a deeper conversation of why he took Aaron over Patrick. So,
yeah, he didn't really elaborate on that, which is kind of weak. If you were going to say that you are a quarterback, you have won Super Bowls, you do have a voice, you have a perspective. I do want to see your rationale behind it, not to say he's entering out of his prime now. I don't. It was pretty lame, I would say, as far as analysis wise, for a guy who did play and is making such a big take there on that.
Like I said before, it's his boy. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and he's going to his team now, right? He's a Pittsburgh Steeler now. So
absolutely. What is he supposed to say? I'm gonna take Patrick all day. Yeah. Shoot, out in Pittsburgh, boy, them jokers will hang you up to dry out there in Pittsburgh. They will. So Big Bill still want to get in the building.
What did you make of Bobby Stroud coming to pass the fence with that comment here? Not everybody quits working out at 30 years old, Ben.
It's just like saying, Ben, hey man, stay in your lane. You ain't dealing with the same old guy. You're not dealing with, Aaron Rodgers. Patrick Mahomes is an entity on himself. He is somebody that is the standard on quarterbacks. That's what Bobby's saying. So, yeah, hey, look, not everybody stops at 30. Pat is going to keep working. Pat is going to keep getting better. Pat is not going to fall off. So when we start looking at this, okay, and that's where I wanted to kind of get to, actually. When I start looking at, okay, Aaron Rodgers is 30 years old, okay? So we sitting there looking at him, and you start seeing he got a couple of, 2,500, but he only had 9 games. 116, 43, 38, 44, 40 touchdowns. In 2016, he was 33. 44, 25, 4,000, 4,200, 48 touchdowns. Like, he has some good years. He has some great years. But Pat, I think, because of who he is, will absolutely surpass that. So that's what I see. I just, Big Ben, hey brother, you know me, man. I'm not one that stats. They can be interpreted a lot of different ways. We look at wins, we look at victories. We start looking at how the other teammates treat him and what they talk about. That's the nod for me. I want that guy. I don't want the guy that's going to throw me on the bus, Marcus. I don't want if something happens and he gonna point his. It's that guy. It's him. It's him. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about it. I saw people in the chat kind of talking about it, but like Rodgers through the years, I mean, he's had a stockpile of like Pro Bowl receivers, even if it's one season or not.
Yes.
But Greg Jennings, James Jones, who led the league in touchdowns, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb. So he has had guys consistently throughout the years. And I'm not knocking or taking shots at who the Chiefs have had, but really Mahomes has had Tyreek and Kelsey as far as his Pro Bowl receivers. He's really never had anybody else be a Pro Bowl receiver from outside of Tyreek and Kelsey. But we're talking about I just listed with 6 guys right there with all who Rodgers had throughout his career during his prime years. So it's like
right. This is true. All the things you just said is true. Now, that's one thing I didn't want to do. So I don't want to cut the legs out from the guys that we have had. But we distribute the ball around more than anybody else. That's what happens. That's what we do. So you could call that system or whatever. But I mean, Pat can make every throw, any throw, doesn't matter who it is, sidearm, over the top, behind the back. He's ambidextrous. So you name it. Pat can do whatever back there as a quarterback. You can.
And we're talking about Mahomes, a guy who took a team to beat the Bengals in the AFC Championship game, throwing to Marcus Kemp in the fourth quarter. McCole Hardman getting hurt, breaking his ribs in that game, or whatever his stomach issue that he had. But Marcus Kemp got major role and major snaps during the fourth quarter of an AFC Championship game against the Bengals. I mean, come on here. I mean, what are we talking about? Marcus Kemp, which in many years there'll be a trivia question as to who was one of the guys who caught a pass for Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game. Marcus Kemp. I mean, people forget about that. It's just like that's the kind of stuff we're talking about here. And then on the other end, we're talking about Greg Jennings, James Jones, Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams. Very that's why sometimes I hate the comparisons. I get everyone's got their own opinion, but like not every situation is an apples to apples comparison. Not every situation is the same.
No,
teams are built different. So, but yeah, Big Ben, I hope I would like to see him elaborate on this though. I like some actual analysis, like the analysis that you go on every week when we talk about tight end stuff or anything at all. When we do our grade shows, you give analysis and perspectives. When you say a comment, you back it up with what you see on film. I mean, all he's saying is he's entering out of his prime. I mean, that's it. That's your backup. Come on.
Yeah, Pat is still in his prime. So. He's far from it. And the thing is, he keeps working out like he is. He's going to stay in his prime for a long time. So, he plays for, another 10 years, 11 years, like Aaron Rodgers is, man, he ain't going to be close.
Yeah, Rich Cooper, AFC Championship game every single year of his career so far. I'm not sure if Ben even believes what he's saying. Yeah. I mean, it's still nuts.
Yeah. No, he believes it. He does. He believes it. But that's his boy. So,
yeah.
He ain't going to change his mind.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, I'll take Pat. Maybe. But I think, he's, yeah, it's my guy. I got to stay with Aaron. AR-15. Yeah. Sasha said Aaron watched the nightclub bathroom door for Ben. What a funny.
Ooh.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and also too, like what we said, so not only are they probably friends, but on top of that, he's now a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback brotherhood kind of thing. So like that also adds another element to the entire him backing up Rodgers there.
Oh yeah. So yeah, what's it about time? So any chance of getting a wide receiver tight end and running back coach on channel? Would love to hear the input. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to those brothers actually. So and I had a chance to do it, but I'm gonna shout out to the guys, man. During this time, I don't think people know, but this is kind of where coaches are like, this is their break. you know, because they know they're going to be in for a long haul from this point on. You know, when you start getting into training camp and all those different things, it is shoot. And so I know it's time, man. It's something that's precious to them. But they want to get away. They want to get away from football right now. And I tell you, hey, man, get out, go to wherever you're going to, an island, go enjoy yourself, celebrate your family, and, you know, stay away from football. I don't want you guys talking about football, because once you get back, we got you. And that's how it is. So it's a marathon from that point on.
And I'm sure the families love this period too of no football, because once they get back from mid-July till in our case mid-February, they are locked in that facility.
Oh yeah. You know how Sweetie is when she like, you ain't doing another show. I can't do
no Friday show.
Yeah, right. No, you can't. That is my time. Right.
Once September comes around, the changes a little bit, but yeah, off season, no, sir. You get 2 shows. That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.